Welcome back to What I Learned Today. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about failure ratio. This is actually something I heard about in an episode of the podcast Curious Minds with Amy Wilkinson, where she talked about failure ratio and how important that is to innovation, learning, etc. And unfortunately, this isn't an idea that is commonplace in schools. I've never heard this discussed in school. I've been a teacher. This is my 23rd year. If it was something that was popular, I would have thought I would have heard about it. I've not heard teachers talk about it. I've not had any PD on it, etc. And I think part of that is schools just don't like to look at failure as a good thing. We like to look at failure as a bad thing. When a student fails, that's bad. That student's not doing anything. That student's not learning, et cetera, et cetera. And if we flipped the way we look at that and we thought about it in the lens of failure ratio, how would that change education? How would that change students' feelings about failure? How would that change teachers' feelings about failure? And failure ratio is all about, if I want to succeed, I have to fail. Because by failing, I'm learning. I'm learning what doesn't work. I'm learning what I need to change, what I need to improve, and then I can go do those things. But we have ingrained in students and parents, because they went through our educational system, and even us as teachers, myself included, we've ingrained that we do everything possible to avoid failure. Everything in schools is built around avoiding failure. Grades are used to try to motivate students to avoid failure because you do not want an F on your grade card. If we changed how we look at failure, and if we encouraged it, if we said to students, you know what, you're never failing. That means you are always either doing something that's already been done, you're doing something that someone already knows how it works, etc. That's not good. We need you to be breaking down boundaries and exploring new areas and doing things that have never been done before. And in the process of doing that, we know you are going to fail, because no person on this earth is perfect. No one is going to immediately know exactly what to do in every situation that person encounters. But through the exploration, through the process of exploring and searching, we learn. And with that learning comes failure. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a scientist, etc., you are used to failing. But again, here in schools, we're not. In science classes, we teach them things that we've already learned, which isn't a bad thing. But how often are students given the opportunity to search out something new? How many students have gone through our education system in the United States and they had amazing ideas, but they felt they weren't valuable because failure wasn't valued. Exploring wasn't valued. What was valued was concrete. What was valued was what was known, so that no risk had to be taken. So, that idea of failure ratio, I really love it. It's episode 34 of Curious Minds, that podcast. I really enjoy it. And, Amy Wilkinson's work, her talking about that failure ratio is just so interesting to me, and something that I want to instill in my students, that, yes, I want you to take a risk. I want you to fail because you are trying to do things that people haven't done before. That is where true learning takes place, and that's something I'm really going to push with my students as they start looking ahead to life after high school, as they start building their brands, and so forth. So I hope that you've had a good week. We're almost in the middle of October, so that's hard to believe. And get outside, enjoy the leaves, enjoy the beautiful weather, because the cold weather will be here soon. And I hope that you are continuing to learn every day. And if you get a chance this weekend, I hope you will continue to learn then as well. Have a good one.